In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NFL games happening on September 8, 2024, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NFL games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. New England Patriots versus Cincinnati Bengals. In the opening week of the NFL season, the Cincinnati Bengals will host the New England Patriots on Sunday at Paul Brown Stadium. The Bengals are eager to bounce back after an underwhelming 2023 season, while the Patriots are banking on rookie quarterback Drake May to be the answer after the disappointing tenure of Mac Jones. Joe Burrow and the Bengals are determined to rebound from a frustrating 9-8 record that saw them miss out on the playoffs. There is optimism that Cincinnati will return to form this year, particularly under the leadership of Burrow and head coach Zach Taylor. Unlike the Bengals teams of old, this current era has brought newfound expectations. Burrow, who only played in 10 games last season due to a wrist injury, is healthy again and ready to lead the offense. Although Joe Mixon is no longer with the team, Zach Moss steps in, and the receiving core remains strong with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. The Bengals have a favorable matchup to start their 2024 campaign, as the Patriots might be the weakest team in the league. With the departure of Bill Belichick, the Jerod Mayo era begins in New England, but Mayo inherits a roster that is severely lacking in talent. Jacoby Brissett is the starting quarterback, with Drake May as his backup, but neither option is inspiring. On defense, the Patriots just traded their top pass rusher, Matthew Judon, to the Atlanta Falcons, leaving them with few bright spots outside of tight end Hunter Henry and cornerback Christian Gonzalez. It's unlikely that Cincinnati will stumble out of the gate like they did in the past 2 seasons when they started 0-2. The Patriots have one of the worst offensive lines and skill position groups in the NFL, and with Brissett starting at quarterback, they seem content with a low-ceiling option at the game's most critical position. While the Patriots might have a stronger defense than the Bengals, it's doubtful they'll be able to keep pace with Cincinnati for all 4 quarters, especially if Chase is on the field. Burrow is poised to put any lingering concerns about his wrist to rest early in the game. He looked sharp in preseason and is surrounded by a talented supporting cast. Although the Patriots performed well against the spread toward the end of last season, it's hard to see them doing the same in this matchup. The Bengals, eager to make a statement after a disappointing 2023, should have little trouble with New England. The Patriots' offensive line woes, which were evident throughout the preseason, could be a major issue in this game. The trade of Judon leaves a significant void on the defensive line, and it may take time for the team to gel under Mayo's leadership. In the meantime, the Bengals should handle them with relative ease. While the Bengals may not be widely regarded as Super Bowl favorites, a healthy Burrow and an improved defense make them at least 9 points better than the Patriots. Therefore, the Cincinnati Bengals to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The under has hit in 7 of the Patriots' last 9 September games and in 5 straight games for the Bengals against American Football Conference East opponents. Even if Chase plays, motivation could be an issue. He's currently chasing a new contract and hasn't been practicing much. Although Higgins is a solid player, the offense revolves around Chase, and it won't function the same if he isn't fully committed. The Patriots boast a top 10 defense and could make life difficult for Burrow on Sunday. With a new head coach and defensive coordinator eager to prove themselves, New England will come ready to compete. On the other hand, Brissett isn't likely to exploit Cincinnati's average defense. The Bengals have added Von Bell and Geno Stone to strengthen their secondary, which should be sufficient against a Patriots offense that lacks playmakers. Expect the Patriots to focus on controlling the clock and playing a defensive game to keep the ball out of Burrow's hands. Christian Gonzalez showed promise as a cornerback for the Patriots before his injury, and despite Belichick's departure, Jerod Mayo's history as a standout linebacker should help keep the defense formidable. If the Bengals build an early lead, they will likely run down the clock, forcing the Patriots to rely on Brissett in passing situations. While Brissett isn't terrible, the offensive line remains a significant question mark heading into the season. It's hard to envision the Patriots scoring more than 10 points, while the Bengals are unlikely to surpass 30, until New England's offense proves it can consistently produce. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Arizona Cardinals versus Buffalo Bills. Highmark Stadium is quickly running out of opportunities for home games this season, making Sunday's kickoff a significant event for fans and players alike. The Arizona Cardinals, who finished last season with a 4-13 record, will face the Buffalo Bills, who ended their season with an 11-6 record. This matchup, airing on CBS, will be the first game of the season for both teams. The last time these two teams met was in 2020, when the Cardinals secured a narrow 32-30 victory at home. With the venue shifting to Buffalo this year, one wonders if the change in location will work in favor of the Bills. While there are those who believe the Bills might be taking a step back this season, the betting line for the season opener suggests otherwise. When these teams last faced each other 4 years ago, the Cardinals emerged victorious with a 32-20 win at home. The connection between quarterback Kyler Murray and wide receiver Marquise Hollywood Brown has the potential to become one of the league's better duos, but since this is their first regular season game together, there may be some growing pains. Buffalo's defense is well equipped to disrupt the developing chemistry, and more importantly, they have the tools to put pressure on the elusive Murray. On the other side of the ball, Josh Allen remains a reliable and adaptable leader, now a seasoned veteran who can make adjustments on the fly. Last season, the Cardinals were 4-5 against the spread on the road, while the Bills were 5-5 against the spread at home. Playing in Buffalo presents a challenge for most visiting teams, and it will be no different for Arizona. The Cardinals' defense struggled mightily last season, particularly in the trenches, finishing 31st in points allowed. This is not a good omen for them as they face a Bills team that ranked in the top 5 in rushing yards. Offensive coordinator Joe Brady returns with a focus on establishing the run, and Arizona hasn't done enough to shore up their defensive front to effectively counter opposing rushing attacks. This disparity is a significant factor in the matchup, as the Cardinals' inability to make key stops is what sets these two teams apart. While Arizona's offense is capable of finding success, passing downs will be difficult against a strong Buffalo pass rush. Although Murray has the mobility to evade some sacks, it won't be enough to overcome the Bills' advantages. For these reasons, the Buffalo Bills to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The last time these two teams met, they combined for 52 points, falling short of a 56.5-point total. Buffalo had one of the higher scoring offenses in the league last season, but enters this year without their quarterback's top 2 wide receiver targets. This shift in personnel suggests that the Bills will likely rely more on their running game, which will help control the clock. Meanwhile, the Cardinals struggled to score last season due to Murray's injuries. When he's healthy, Murray can be a dynamic playmaker, but he also tends to rely on his legs to move the ball, until he develops a complete connection with Hollywood Brown, which would open up opportunities for other receivers. Expect Arizona to keep things conservative and stick to the ground game in the early stages of the season. The Cardinals made several moves to improve their defense, while the Bills didn't make many changes to their already solid defensive unit. Arizona's defense finished last season ranked 29th in yards allowed per rush attempt, while Buffalo's defense wasn't much better, finishing 28th. Both teams had top 10 rushing offenses in 2023, making it unlikely that either defense will be able to consistently stop the run. Additionally, the Bills boasted a top 10 passing offense last season, and they will be facing a Cardinals defense that ended the year ranked 30th in sacks and 27th in yards allowed per pass attempt. Unlike last year, Arizona will have a top quarterback-wide receiver duo to start the season, but Buffalo's secondary will look different after 7 seasons of continuity with 2 new starters. With a projected total near 50 points, oddsmakers anticipate a high-scoring affair with limited defensive resistance. This expectation is reasonable, considering the Cardinals spent much of their offseason focusing on improving their offense, while their defense hasn't seen significant upgrades. Last season, Arizona ranked 31st in points allowed per game, giving up over 26 points on average, with only the Washington Commanders faring worse. If the Cardinals haven't done much to bolster that unit, it's hard to see them containing the Bills' potent offense. On the other hand, Buffalo had a solid defensive unit last season, but recent changes could impact their effectiveness. Star linebacker Matt Milano is dealing with an injury, and safety Jordan Poyer left for the Miami Dolphins, meaning the Bills' defense will look different in 2024. This game is likely to be dominated by offense, and until either defense shows signs of improvement, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Houston Texans versus Indianapolis Colts. The NFL is kicking off with an exciting Week 1 schedule, and one of the standout early matchups on Sunday features a clash in the American Football Conference South. The Houston Texans will face off against the Indianapolis Colts in a game that promises to be one of the highlights of the weekend. Indianapolis appears poised for another strong rushing attack this season, with all the pieces seemingly in place. However, they face a tough challenge in this opener, as Houston's defense allowed the second fewest yards per carry in 2023 and has only gotten stronger in the offseason. Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson has yet to prove himself as a reliable NFL passer, and there's little confidence that he can carry the team on his own, especially with a questionable Colts defense that is likely to struggle to get stops throughout the game. On the other hand, the Texans project to be one of the NFL's top offensive units, bolstered by a talented quarterback and a dynamic receiving core. With a healthy offensive line and the presence of Joe Mixon in the backfield, Houston's offense is expected to keep opposing defenses on their toes. Meanwhile, the Colts defense, which allowed the fifth most points in the league last season, needs to show significant improvement if they hope to compete in this matchup. The expectations for the Texans are sky-high following their 10-7 record last season, which saw them capture the American Football Conference South title. At a minimum, Houston is expected to contend for another division crown. With odds of plus 850 to win the American Football Conference and plus 1600 to win the Super Bowl, the Texans are seen as legitimate contenders, and there's no reason why head coach DeMeco Ryans and his team can't achieve some, if not all, of those lofty goals. The Texans struck gold with C.J. Stroud as the number 2 overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, and now the second-year quarterback from Ohio State has even more weapons at his disposal, thanks to the additions of running back Joe Mixon and wide receiver Stephon Diggs. While Indianapolis has its own promising young quarterback in Anthony Richardson, he hasn't seen action since Week 4 of the 2023 season due to a shoulder injury. As a result, it might take some time for Richardson and the Colts to find their rhythm. Although the Colts are playing at home this weekend, their home field advantage may not count for much. In 2023, Indianapolis posted a 4-5 home record and ended the season with a 23-19 loss to the visiting Texans. Don't be surprised if head coach Shane Steichen's squad suffers a similar defeat this time around. The Houston Texans to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Lucas Oil Stadium provides perfect indoor conditions for the game, and while the Colts ranked 10th in scoring last season, they often did so without their top 2 playmakers on the field together. The Texans, on the other hand, finished 13th in points scored and made 2 of the most significant additions of the offseason. Expect plenty of offensive fireworks in this game. Last season, C.J. Stroud averaged 324 passing yards against the Colts, and there's a good chance he will once again exploit their secondary. Meanwhile, Indianapolis averaged 5.9 yards per carry against Houston in 2023, racking up 353 total rushing yards across their 2 meetings. This time, with Richardson and Taylor working together, the Colts' ground game should be even more potent. It's likely that the Texans will put up plenty of points in this game. Their receiving core is stacked, especially with the addition of Stephon Diggs, who was brought in during the offseason. As noted in a Pro Football Focus article, Indianapolis' secondary is their biggest weakness, which doesn't bode well against Houston's explosive passing attack. The Texans have the ability to strike quickly, and their big play potential should push this game over the total. In Shane Steichen's debut season as head coach, the Colts went 11-6 against the over, with a 64.7% success rate, which was the 3rd best in the NFL. His offense played at a fast pace last season, averaging 64.4 plays per game, which ranked 12th in the league. While we can expect the Colts to run the ball a fair amount in this game, they should still manage to get in plenty of plays, preventing the game from slowing down too much. Given all these factors, this matchup has all the makings of a shootout, making over the projected total our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.